This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody. It's just me again tonight. Gar's lucky enough to be still travelling with his friends while we do show 161 of Aussie Mac Zone. And don't forget, we are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. Australian servers, affordable and competitive plans, 99.95% uptime. cPanel, industry standard, user-friendly, feature-rich control panel, all from $5.95 per month when paid annually. So, our Aussie Apple ramblings this week. Apple has been ordered to pay Vertex, which $302.4 million in patent lawsuit. So a jury has ordered Apple to pay $302.4 to Vertex Holding Corp. after it had found that the tech giant's FaceTime feature infringed on Vertex's patents related to secure communications. The case will now go to the United States Court of Appeals. Vertex is a communications technology company founded by a group of employees at the Science Applications International Corp, which develops security technologies for various federal agencies. However, the company is regularly described as a patent troll. This is the third time that Apple and Vertex have gone to court over the issue. In 2010, Vertex sued Apple, and Apple was ordered to pay $368. The suit was thrown out by the US Court of Appeals. A second trial earlier this year resulted in another win for Vertex, but a trial judge overturned the $625 million fine for Apple in July. Vertex won't see this payout right away. The case will now go to the US Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit of Washington. The court has a long history of ruling on patent cases and will examine the case according to two standards to determine whether or not Apple infringed on the patents. So, I believe, personally, this is probably the reason we don't have FaceTime on other devices like Android phones, for example, which is why it's just us. Okay, sorry about that, team. So, yeah, that's the reason I don't believe we've got FaceTime. Our next little story. Apple Music beats Spotify, Pandora, and others in J.D. Power Customer Satisfaction Survey. Apple Music has been ranked the highest in overall customer satisfaction among 7 streaming music brands, which that were compared in a new study by J.D. Power based on 4,482 individuals who have paid for subscription music service in the last 6 months. J.D. Power's inaugural music study measured 6 key areas in each service: performance, reliability, ease of use, cost of service, content, communication, and customer service. So, does that mean it was only the customer service that Apple won at, or the whole lot? I don't know the whole story, but yes, Apple been known for always winning customer service surveys, so there's a lot to be said about how they go about their business for us, the customer, isn't there? iOS 10 overtakes iOS 9. Just over 2 weeks after iOS 10 was released to the public, the adoption rate has measured 48.16%, successfully overtaking iOS 9, according to a data obtained from Mixpanel's iOS 10 adoption tracker. Now, it is very important to keep up to date with your iDevice software because of these current little security issues we've had recently. So my advice, and it is working really well, I haven't found any software that's not working with the updates, is to go up to iOS 10 as soon as you can, please. Andrew Aaron's job title change. So Apple updated its leadership page this weekend to reflect a minor change to Angela Arendt's title, which has been simplified to Senior Vice President Retail, as online stores has been dropped. And the title change is likely to be, the title change is in line with Apple's simplified retail branding, where they actually got rid of the name store from their Apple pages, because it's a community environment, not just a store. So yeah, that's why she has now in charge of retail, not in stores. So another good point here for us Apple people. Black Hat Security Company increases bounty to 1.5 million as iOS 10 much harder to exploit. Black Hat Security Company Zerodium, which seeks to find vulnerabilities in iOS and Android to sell to corporate and government clients, has increased its maximum bounty for zero-day iOS 10 exploits to 1.5 million. It previously offered 1 million for iOS 9 in vulnerabilities. A zero-day vulnerability is one not yet known to the developer, so companies have 0 days to prepare for exploits. The company founder told Ars Technica that the increased reward reflected the improved security in the latest iOS. And now here's a unusual one. Unhappy customer smashes tens of thousands of dollars of Apple gear in French Apple Store. French media has posted multiple videos of a man in an Apple store in Dijon, France, smashing tens of thousands of dollars worth of iPhones and Macs. He removed display products from their stands, placed them flat on tables, and then smashed them with a heavy steel ball used for popular French game boules. Most of the products he smashed were iPhones, but also smashed at least one MacBook and multiple iMacs, according to iPhone Note. The man can be heard shouting about his consumer rights, and some reports say that he claims Apple refused to honour the EU requirements to provide warranty cover for 2 years after purchase. So, if he thought he had a legal right, still doesn't entitle him to go and smash the crap out of stuff at the store. I wouldn't want that happening at my Apple store. I certainly wouldn't want it happening in any Apple store, but especially French, because of the situations they've gone through lately and creating panic in the shopping centre and things like that. And the best way to get on with Apple people and trying to get your point across is to be super nice. Now, the story doesn't say whether his phone was wet or had been wet, or he dropped it and smashed it. I don't have any of those stories. They just talked about how much gear he smashed up with the steel ball, or showed the video of him being locked out of the store or detained by security people from the shopping centre, etc. So yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that. You have a problem? Call me, email me, and I'll tell you the best way to go through it. And it does work to be polite. I can promise you that for Apple people. Apple and Deloitte join forces. Apple and Deloitte announced a partnership to help companies quickly and easily transform the way they work by maximising the power, ease of use and security the iOS platform brings to the workplace through iPhone and iPad. As part of the joint effort, Deloitte is creating first-of-its-kind Apple practice with over 5,000 strategic advisors who are solely focused on helping businesses change the way they work across their entire enterprise, from customer-facing functions such as retail, field services and recruiting, to R&D, inventory management and back-office systems. Apple and Deloitte will also collaborate on the development of a new service offering from Deloitte Consulting called Enterprise Next, designed to help clients fully take advantage of the iOS ecosystem of hardware, software, and services in the workplace. The new offering will help customers discover the highest impact possibilities within their industries and quickly develop custom solutions through rapid prototyping. So yes, another big company in on the Apple bandwagon, and it's good to see Deloitte coming across. Excellent. So this would normally be in the how-tos, but we had a little challenge this week with macOS Sierra Apple Mail change. With a customer's Apple email client this week failing to send emails. When setting up a new server, we could not change ports or sign-in method where you say, challenge and response or MD5 or port 993 instead of 995, for example. So when we're in there and you select, you're going through the process of entering a new server or a new, you have, I've got some photos as examples on the show notes, but if you've got Michael at michael.com.au and then you put a password in and then you put the host name, and then there's a box that's the automatically manage connection settings tick box. Now that wasn't ticked, and then we had to tick it and then untick it to actually get it to show up where you put in your port number, your authentication method for, you can choose SSL or TLS. None of that was available, and it wasn't sending emails because the SSL wasn't selected for this particular server. But yeah, it just wasn't. So you have to tick it and then untick it to actually get it to show up for some reason. If it's already an established server, it's already ticked or unticked depending on the circumstance. But for this new one that we were setting up, you had to actually go through the process, and took a while to work out exactly why. Once we had it there, then it was done. So yeah, that was all right, but just very annoying. And as I said, look at the photos in the show notes as a reference for anyone trying to set up mail on Mac OS Sierra. You've got to say the right names these days. Don't forget, we've got Aussie Tech Radio at aussietechradio.com, which is Aussie Tech Security Podcast, Aussie Tech Heads Podcast. There's Dan Walsh, Leading Edge, Your Tech Life. Two blokes talking tech. There's a few, few good little tech conversation pointers there. Some are heavy, some are light, and we're also like to know your feedback on what you'd like to see from a radio type station. Do you think we need to have a better scheduling effort where you can say, all right, well, we've got Aussie Mac Zone starts at 7 o'clock every Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night might be Linking Edge with Des Walsh, or Thursday night might be Your Tech Life, a more specified time, or are you just quite happy with just running along with the 24? We know it goes 24/7 anyway, but how do you like to listen to it? Maybe that's what we were thinking. If anyone's got any feedback, would be greatly appreciated. I was lucky enough to go have Glenn staying with me last Friday, and we went to OzPod 2016, which was held by the ABC in Sydney. Very interesting. A lot of people there, a lot of podcasters, a lot of people talking about include, how radio includes podcasts these days. So yeah, it was a good day was had by all. It was a lot of sessions, a long day, but yeah, very interesting, very interesting. So another little how-to here is we were lucky enough to find this by experience. If you send a message with a flight number, i.e. I've just boarded QF 910. Now I made that flight number up. So when the recipient clicks on QF 910 in the message, it asks, has a little box come up, preview flight. So you tap preview flight, and you get a map showing where the plane is, the departure time, the arrival time, and whether it's on time or not. So in this particular case, Glenn flying from Queensland, I see the plane, and depending how often I was checking, I might have seen it over Lismore and then, Port Macquarie, Newcastle, and, oh, look, it's landed. There you go. Now I can worry about trying to work out how to pick him up. So, yeah, just by including the flight number, it didn't say his flight number so-and-so. It just said, I've just boarded QF 910. Actually, on his first one, it just had the flight number. It didn't say I've just boarded or anything like that, because it included some other information in the previous message, and it just had the flight number and nothing else, and it still worked. So it is obviously very clever. Whether it's because it knows where you're sending it from, I don't know, but it is obviously getting very clever. Another little trick for iOS 10 mail this time is if you want to see only your unread emails very quickly, tap the circle with the 3 lines on the bottom left of the screen, and that'll give you just your unread email, because you might have kept some and not filed them away as yet, or want to react when you get back to your computer, and you only want to see just your unread emails. And as David Allen says, is whenever you've got a few minutes, just tidy up. And this is a quick way of just seeing your unread emails, so you don't have to double think about those emails, and just keep tidying up. So yeah, that's show 161 of Aussie Max Zone. I hope I haven't rattled along too quick for you, and unfortunately we haven't got any normal banter, but with any luck, Garth will be back next week, and I'll get him slaving away at the other end, so you don't just have to put up with me. But thank you everyone for coming, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. Bye.